Okay, so yesterday we went over the causes of the French Revolution. You guys had that writing assignment on it. So given that, and given the fact that we have gone over all 5 of those, today's quick write is going to reflect that. So this is an opinion question for today. Based off of all of those causes that we learned, there are 5 different ones. What do you think is the biggest or the most important cause? Like, what do you think is the cause that really pushed that third estate over into revolting against the government? And then I have 2 sentence starters here for you, so you guys can use them. So like, in my opinion, the biggest or most important cause of the French Revolution was, I believe this because, okay? If you need some help, it needs to look back at your sources that we used yesterday, or look at any of the notes that you've taken on your causes. Obviously, go ahead and do that. Like I said, there are 5 different ones, so I want you guys to just pick one of those for me. So I'll just give you guys about 2 to 3 minutes for this. So like I said, this one shouldn't take you guys very long, and then we will go over it together and then get into what we're doing today. About 1 more minute, because I see that several of you guys are still writing. I'm gonna have you guys do, go ahead and share with your partner exactly what you wrote down, and explain to them why you think that cause was really what led that third estate to revolting. And go ahead, please. Okay. Thank you guys for having that conversation. Let me hear from Ben. Give me, what do you think today's reason is that the third estate decided to revolt against their government?
It's just that they felt motivated because the Americans were never revolution.
Right, so the American Revolution. So obviously understanding the fact that they were inspired by the Americans, we also have to remember that they did help them win that war, so they saw the success that the Americans had, probably believed that they could themselves do the same thing. Thank you very much. Aiden, go ahead and tell me, what cause do you think is the most important or the biggest one? Unfair voting, and why? Right, because they continue to get outvoted by those other two estates constantly, so obviously their voices are never going to be heard. Thank you very much. And then Gracie, last one, go ahead and tell me, what do you think is the most important cause of the French Revolution?
The Declaration of American Independence.
Okay, so the Declaration of Independence, and why?
Because the people of France saw it as a way of hope for themselves, because if they were able to fight against Britain, maybe they could be able to fight against Britain.
Absolutely. Okay, I really like that. They found hope from the Americans. Again, that inspiration. Thank you guys very much. What I need for you guys to do is go ahead and switch over to the page that you are going to take some notes on. Today's notes aren't going to be very, very long, so we'll probably be taking like maybe 10 to 15 minutes of getting some Cornell notes in just to get you guys some background information into your handouts and your readings for today. Now I'm going to tell you guys my page number up here is wrong. It is not page 21. What page is it? It's page 30. Okay, so you guys should be on page 30. I need to fix that for my other classes. Okay. So just like how we took Cornell notes last time, I'm going to put all of the notes up here on the screen for you guys to take, and then after I give you guys time to do that, I'll explain them just so I'm not talking while you guys are taking notes. So I don't expect that you're probably listening to me. So go ahead, take about, like I said, 7 minutes or so to get these notes written down. Yeah, that's fine. lot of us are getting right towards the end of our notes. So I'm gonna quickly just go over what's on these slides. So what is the Estates General and the National Assembly? So we've talked about several times the fact that the third estate was only given one vote, even though they made up 97% of that population. So the Estates General, that is where all of the estates would meet to vote on certain things. And one of the things that they met with at the Estates General was talking about their voting rights. Because they could not come to an agreement on giving the third estate more votes, this would lead to the creation of what is known as the National Assembly. Okay, the National Assembly pretty much is just the new government that the third estate breaks off and creates, because they're pretty much sick and tired of the king, not listening to them, not having their fair rights and freedoms. So they break off, they make their own government, okay? Along with that, they do create something that is called the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen. That should sound very, very similar to the Declaration of Independence. And a lot of the things that are within it are very similar as well. So for example, it did draw inspiration, again, from our Declaration of Independence, as well as the Enlightenment ideas. And I give you guys one quote right there because, again, it should sound very familiar, that men are born and remain free and equal in rights. So you guys are going to see all those types of documents when you guys get to your test, like the Magna Carta, the U.S. Bill of Rights, the English Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, and the Declaration of the Rights of Man. So you guys should be able to make those connections that they are very similar, and all of those things are really calling for very similar things, okay? Do me a favor, if you are still taking your notes, is there anybody that's still taking a second for these? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and show you your second set. This will be it, I promise, and then you guys will get into your reading. Your reading is not that bad today. You guys only have like a few documents that you need to look through. So go ahead, like I said, take the next about 7 or so minutes to get this written down. Like I've said before, guys, feel free to paraphrase this information. Feel free to put this stuff into your own words or shorten things. That's just part of good note-taking skills, that you are able to, again, put this into your own words to make it make sense for you.
couple of free trials a day at cognitoforums.com.
Oh. Okay, I'll add mine. So is there a specific time that you guys were? Okay, I haven't gotten anything. They might be giving me a slip at some point in the middle of this class period. Is it early bird first?
Okay, so I see that most of you guys are done, so I'm also gonna go over these really quickly, and then we'll get into our readings. Okay, so what happened after King Louis? Oh, what happened to him? Okay, so obviously now that the third estate has kind of taken over the government, they have created their own government, and we learned from that video that you guys watched on Friday about the guillotine, and that this revolution is going to be extremely, extremely bloody. He's going to be found guilty of treason. Now, treason is just betrayal. So the national estate is going to execute him and his wife. And the biggest reason for that is because they can't meet the demands of the National Assembly. They want to get rid of the absolute monarchy. Obviously, the king's not about that. He's not going to agree to that, so they will eventually just execute him, which is going to start this period called the Reign of Terror. This Reign of Terror is led by a guy named Maximilien Robespierre. He's really important to this. You guys got to know his name for your test. He was a group of radical, extreme revolutionaries who imprisoned and executed anybody in France who was seen as being against the revolution. So they would be considered enemies of the state because they are not for the revolution. And you guys are going to learn from your reading that over 27,000 people are going to die within an 18-month period. That is a lot. So like I said, there's going to be a lot of contrasting information compared from this revolution to the American Revolution. And then eventually, based off this Reign of Terror, you guys are going to decide whether you believe that it was justified or whether it was not justified. So is there anybody else that needs a second for these notes? I'll give you guys another second there. If you don't have a highlighter out, do me a favor and please get one out. I'm going to read that background reading to you guys just so we can kind of move on just a little bit quicker today, just to ensure that you guys do get through all of your sources. So once you are ready to move on, you guys need to be on this sheet right here. Like I said, I'm going to read the whole thing to you out loud. So of course, as I read this, you guys are going to be highlighting. Okay, so again, this Reign of Terror, this is going to be that bloody period where we have many innocent people lose their lives. So I'm going to be on the overview first, then I'm just going to go right on into that background. So the overview, the French Revolution began in 1789 as an attempt to form a new government and abolish or get rid of an absolute monarchy. This revolution did not follow a simple path. One poster from the time read, "Unity, liberty, equality, fraternity, or death." That last word is troubling and will foreshadow the true terror of this time period in France. After the Estates General was broken up, the Third Estate created the National Assembly, and France adopted the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen. Everything seemed to be headed in the right direction. However, not everybody was happy, especially the Second Estate and the First Estate, with the reforms or changes. To deal with this opposition, the French Revolution took a major turn and became more radical or extreme. King Louis XVI and his wife, Marie Antoinette, were found guilty of crimes against the state and were guillotined. The execution of the king marked an 18-month period of the revolution known as the Reign of Terror. The man most famously responsible for leading this Reign of Terror was Maximilien Robespierre, a chief prosecutor. Led by Robespierre, the new government proceeded to execute and guillotine large numbers of individuals whom it considered to be enemies of the revolution. During the Reign of Terror, 27,000 people died by execution or from imprisonment. The Reign of Terror would abruptly end in mid-1794. Robespierre himself was executed and a more conservative or traditional government was put in place. Within 5 years, Napoleon Bonaparte would take control of France. Napoleon Bonaparte, he's going to be the guy that we really focus on next. So keep his name in your mind. Our focus for this lesson, you need to consider how far people in a government should go to preserve their vision of liberty and equality. In 1793 and 1794, were conditions in France serious enough to require such a violent response by the revolutionary government? In other words, your essential question today, was the Reign of Terror justified or not? All right, I'm gonna throw my instructions up here just really quickly. Like I said, you guys are doing what we normally do with our source reading. You guys are gonna read through your sources and answer any questions that you see below. Again, there are two sides, so make sure that when you guys are on this background, when you flip over, there's two sources here for you with some questions, and then just this side, okay? Some of it's just looking at pictures, and a lot of these sources are really, really short. And my questions aren't very hard today, they're just more of guiding questions. So last thing that I want you guys to pay attention to is when you're going through your readings and you are really thinking about whether this was justified or not, I want you guys to think like a historian, okay? I want you to either put yourself in the shoes of the leaders of the Reign of Terror, like Maximilien Robespierre, or in the shoes of the innocent people to answer if this was justified. Okay, and what does justified mean? It just means, was there a good or legitimate reason for this taking place? All right, are there any questions? Okay, then you guys should be getting started on the back side. Your first document is just a few articles from the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizens. You're gonna answer your questions and then follow through. So you guys have 20 minutes for this. If for some reason we aren't able to finish in class today, obviously I will give you guys time in class tomorrow, but our goal is to get this done today. All right, so you guys are working with your partners, reading out loud, highlighting, and answering questions. And go, please. Okay, explain the contradiction of Articles 7, 9, and 10 of the events that took place in the Reign of Terror. So again, we know that the Reign of Terror has a lot of people getting executed, and these people, or all of these people, they're innocent. They're just being considered enemies of the state. Now, is that a reason to execute someone if you don't agree with someone's government? Like, say that you don't agree with your government, should you be executed? No. So based off of these, right, the fact that they're saying people have rights, people have liberties, people should not be accused, arrested, or imprisoned, they're saying all of these things. These are things that they believe in. And why are they killing? So that's what the contradiction is. You get what I'm saying? So how can you say that no person should be accused or imprisoned? Everybody is innocent until they're guilty, yet they're being killed anyway. So do you see how that contradicts, like, it's just opposite of what they believe in?
Read it, Elizabeth.
Right, exactly. So you're saying, okay, how are they gonna believe in this, yet they're killing all these people? Yeah, it just doesn't, it's quite opposite of what they are saying that they believe in.
And then you read the second one?
Document A,
Okay, let me come on over to you real quickly. Okay, so contradictions. Think about it this way. So we have all of these rights that they're putting out in the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, right? No one should be accused, arrested, or imprisoned. Nobody should be found guilty, or everybody is innocent until they are proven guilty, right? Those are things that we also believe in here. Now, understanding the reign of terror, knowing that 27,000 people lose their lives, are you gonna say that these people are all guilty? No. So that's what I'm saying. That's what a contradiction is, right? It's opposite of what they're believing in, compared to what their actions are. Yes, exactly, right? They're not actually following what they've implemented into this new government, this National Assembly, and what they believe in. They're not actually following through with any of that. Yeah. Or is that, who is that? Phew. I just wanna make sure it was still recording. It is. Oh, yeah, actually, okay, yeah, I'll make sure that that's excused. Let me set this down. Okay, so, but you're comparing it to the reign of terror, right? So based off the actions here, I'm gonna go ahead and. Okay, just because I've had this question several times already, guys. On that first document where it talks about the fact that people are given rights and freedoms, the fact that they are innocent until they are proven guilty, the fact that they are saying that nobody should be accused or imprisoned, all those types of things. You are comparing that to the actions of the reign of terror. How is that Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizens and what it says in there, how is that different from what is actually happening in the reign of terror, okay? That's what a contradiction is. That's what an inconsistency is. It's meaning that what they're saying, they're not actually following through on that. It's quite opposite, okay? So you're comparing that to the actions of the reign of terror. That should clear some things up for you guys. All right, cool. Continue on, please. You guys have about 15 more minutes. Get through what you can today, please. You're gonna go during third period. Yes.
I feel like I look goofy. This one down here. Okay, so do you think the activities of the tribunal and the public of media, public safety would justify it? Why or why not? Okay, so right here. Okay. So let's see. So the committee of public safety, their whole goal was to protect the public from or to protect the public safety. However, again, these are the guys who are responsible for rounding up all the people to execute. So do you think that based off of their actions, do you think that they are justified? Do you think that this just like organization of people that are rounding up all these people to die, do you think that those actions are justified? Yes. Right, exactly. So I know it's kind of like the same question, almost as this up here, but understanding that these are the people that actually carry out these actions, do you agree with what they're doing, essentially? You're welcome. So another way that you guys can
kind of think about the word justified, because it asks you several different times, like when you guys get to the Committee of Public Safety, like by justified is, do you agree with their actions? Are their actions good? Are their actions legitimate? Or do you think that they're bad and that they probably shouldn't be doing those types of things? And again, you need to explain the why on those.
Alright, now, dissect it out now. What do you think? What's your thoughts? You just have this one right here.
On the second?
Yeah, document number 2.
Oh,
No, you're good.
I think it's for me to, like, light.
Mm-hmm.
How you're supposed to actually do it, you're supposed to let people that like voted for that position,
Right.
but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're trying to protect people,
But do we feel like they're actually protecting people?
I feel like they're not.
They're not,
It's a trick.
right? I know, it is a
It's
trick.
like a trick.
And so it's interesting that their whole job is to protect this, like protect everybody, right? To make sure that everybody is living this safe life in France. But what is it? That's probably opposite. Huh?
Is it not like, how do you say it? Is it not like a group, just like a group?
Yeah, so it's a group of people, again, that weren't elected, so say that it's like you four, right? You four are going around France and pretty much collecting the people that are considered enemies of the state for them to go straight to the guillotine. They're never tried, they don't get to like sit in the court and be tried by anybody. They're literally just rounding them up to go to the square to be guillotined in front of everybody.
There's a whole club.
Right, so again, that's the question is, does that seem very fair? Does that really reflect what's in the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen? No, right? Like you said, it's complete opposite from what they're saying France should look like. Okay, so before the revolution, right, we talked about the fact that they came up with this document, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, where all these really good things are in it, where again, you can't be found guilty, you're held innocent, you're found guilty, you have all of these rights and freedoms and liberties and security. So those are, that's the vision that they had for France, right? However, once King Louis gets executed and they start this reign of terror, how does that change? Okay, yeah, so does that fit the vision of the revolutionary reign of terror? Based off of this, does it? No, right? And then like I said, you're gonna really explain the fact that they're rounding up all these people who are being executed in front of everybody. And you're gonna see that in this document right here. It becomes like a show, like pretty much where people come to like experience this. It's really crazy, yeah. So does it fit the vision? You're welcome.
It's trying to protect the public, protect the public safety from bad people, but they are the bad people.
Yes.
No, because they have this No, you have to put quotes around.
If you get there, you have time to do it.
Yes.
Yes, you are. What do you think? No, so I want you to give your opinion. So in your opinion, do you think the reign of terror was justified? And like I said, I'm gonna give you guys two options, that's why I have that question up there. Like, you can think about it from like
the leaders' perspectives, like the leaders of that revolution, because they were the ones that were obviously killing all these people. So in there, you can put yourself in their shoes, you can just give it as your own opinion, or you can put yourself in the shoes of the actual people to see, was that justified? There you go.
Kill who? Just the innocent people? Or the people that were in charge of killing the people? Okay, so eventually you guys are gonna see, I think it's a like last document maybe, or it's in our background, that the leaders actually end up getting executed themselves. So again, we're just having like this full circle of like everybody killing everybody and nothing gets accomplished in the end. Yeah, it is.
So they're just killing them.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what's happening. Because like I said, I mean, there might be some wrong within that 27,000, but how many
They
really?
think they're the police officers.
Yeah, that's exactly what's
So
happening.
what would they do?
Even if you were suspected, like say that you didn't like your neighbor, I'm not kidding, like say you don't like your neighbor, I'm being dead serious. You could literally go up to somebody in the Committee of Public Safety and say, my neighbor was talking crap about you guys, like, he needs to be executed. Yeah, so then they would go.
You can't say nothing about your.
Exactly, so that's what I'm saying, like, if you didn't like somebody, you could accuse them of being against the revolution, and then they're done.
But like.
Well, that's what we're saying. So this is a revolution. Things are changing. Things are being overthrown. It is chaotic in France. That's the whole point that we need to understand. Right. So that's the whole point that we're trying to understand. They killed the king, so now who's in charge? The people have taken charge over, and so now there is absolute chaos and there is zero order going on. So it was King Louis XVI. They killed him and his wife. They guillotined them. Yeah. Yeah, I know. So that's what the people. Just like the people.
For what?
Okay, well, honestly though, based off the fact that the king and queen were not, living up to what the third estate wanted, the third estate took over. They said, well, we're not gonna listen to you guys, and then again, they eventually do it. Yeah. It's a lot going on.
The king and queen get executed.
Yes. Okay, how much time we have? Alright guys, do me a favor, go ahead and tape these into your notebook, please do not lose them. I want you guys to have this taped in. I know that we didn't get to our last section of this. I saw that most of you guys got through like all but one document. We will finish this up tomorrow.
That's so stupid. They're killing